From terrifying creatures in folklore to the origins of Halloween and haunted locations from around the world, this list is spooky, so let's dive right in. Here are the top 10 dark Halloween legends from around the world. Starting off this list in our number 10 spot, we have the Chupacabra. The Chupacabra comes from Puerto Rico, and this story first originated in 1995 when the first sightings occurred. This demon appears in the form of a creepy sort of animal that some would liken to a dog, but others describe it as being more lizard or even alien-like. The signature of this horrifying creature is its vampirism, as it likes to drain the blood of livestock, especially goats. It is said to have a forked tongue and large eyes with spikes on its back from the neck to the tip of its tail. It is said that he drinks the blood through 3 holes which he punctures in the shape of a triangle on the animal's neck. It is said, however, that they are afraid of water and that they don't know how to swim, so if you are ever to encounter one, you can use that to your advantage. In our number 9 spot today, we have Hanako-san. This is a creature that originated in Japan, with the story coming from the World War II era. Hanako-san is said to be the spirit of a girl who passed away from an airstrike. According to the legends surrounding her, it is said that she can be summoned when you enter the girl's bathroom on the 3rd floor of a building. Once in the bathroom, go to the 3rd stall and knock 3 times and call her name. After this, once you open the stall door, it is said that she will be waiting for you. She appears as a sweet girl, but don't let this fool you. It is said that she actually is there to grab you and drag you to hell through the toilet. Sometimes once you've completed the ritual, when you open the stall door, instead of Hanako-san, you'll find a 3-headed lizard that will condemn you for invading her privacy, and then it will devour you. So really, it's a lose-lose situation no matter what. In our number 8 spot today, we have the Headless Horseman. This is a classic Halloween tale that many of us are likely familiar with. This Halloween sort of figure originated in the 1820 short story The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, which was written by author Washington Irving. Little did Washington know that this story and character in particular would go on to have a major influence on pop culture even still. The legend of the Headless Horseman begins in Sleepy Hollow, New York during the American Revolutionary War, and it was here that the horseman was actually a trooper who was killed in the Battle of the White Plains on October 28, 1776. The way he died is quite gruesome, but it is no surprise because, as his name would suggest, he lost his head. While his comrades carried his body off the battlefield, no one was waiting around to collect the pieces of his head. Eventually, when they buried him in the cemetery, he later rose from the dead as a ghost, determined to find his missing head. Some versions of the story have him wielding a jack-o'-lantern as a sort of replacement head. Many versions of this story claim that he rose from the dead on, you guessed it, Halloween, which is exactly why this tale has gone on to become such a classic Halloween story. In our number 7 spot today, we have the Jiangshi. Many different cultures have their own versions of the undead, whether that's something like a vampire character or some sort of zombie. In China, the equivalent is the Jiangshi, which is a creature that is often referred to as a kind of hopping vampire. The Jiangshi, like I just mentioned, they hop around with their arms outstretched, and they are typically depicted wearing official garments from the Qing dynasty, which is where this tale originates from. It is said that the Jiangshi can take someone's life with just one touch as they drain the life force out of you. These guys are usually only out hunting at night, as during the day it is said that they reside in a coffin or another dark place such as a cave. It is said that in order to protect themselves from the Jiangshi, some people will place a slab of wood at the bottom of their door so that the creatures cannot come inside. In our number 6 spot today, we have Philibert. This French legend comes from the time during the French Revolution. At this point, a man named Philibert was a doorman at the Val de Grace Hospital. Philibert wanted a specific liquor that needed to be fetched from the cellar. Unfortunately, he found himself inside of the Paris catacombs while searching for it. He only had one candle and was walking around in the darkness when he realized that he was lost. It is said that Philibert may have also had drinks that night beforehand, which I'm sure didn't really help. The candle was blown out, leaving him completely in the dark and unable to find his way out. 11 years later, his body was found, and it was identified by the ring of hospital keys found with him. He was buried in the catacombs in the spot they found his body, with a tombstone describing his death. It is said that every November 3rd, Philibert's ghost comes out to haunt the catacombs. I know, it's not quite Halloween, but it's so close. In our number 5 spot today, we have the Lotus Pond. This urban legend starts off with a young couple who were so in love that they planned to run away together and elope. They made a plan to meet at midnight at the Lotus Pond, and from there they would leave and go start their lives together. When the girl showed up at midnight, she waited for so long, but the boy never showed up. She left the pond and went back into town, and this is when she spotted her boyfriend with another woman. She was so heartbroken and upset that she began crying and could not stop. shop. She was so distraught that she went back to the Lotus Pond where they had planned to meet, and here she drowned herself. Months later, another couple had a plan to meet at the Lotus Pond. The boy got to the pond early and was waiting for his girlfriend to arrive when he heard a female voice say, quote, "I asked you to meet me at midnight, didn't I?" The boy was really confused because this wasn't the meeting time that him and his partner had discussed, and he responded, "No." All of a sudden, two pale white hands reached out of the water and dragged him under the pond, drowning him. Ever since then, it is said that if you are at the Lotus Pond at midnight and you encounter a girl or hear her voice, do not answer her questions or even look at her, or she will get you too. In our number 4 spot today, we have the Night Hag. The Night Hag is a creature that comes from Brazil. She is a tall, skinny woman with yellow fingernails, white hair, green teeth, red eyes, and an evil laugh. She creeps across rooftops and watches families while they are inside of their homes. She watches the family eat and waits until one of them happens to go to sleep with a stomach full of food. She waits until you're asleep, which is her moment to strike. She will sneak into your bedroom and sit upon your chest so that you are unable to move, and she sits there and waits for her victim to be partly awake but partly still asleep and completely unable to move, which is what some of us would call sleep paralysis. She thrives off of that feeling of helplessness that her victim has, knowing that despite their best attempts, they are unable to move or call for help. In our number 3 spot today, we have the Morgan House. This house is a very popular tourist development in Kalimpong. Its beauty draws a lot of people to the present-day Heritage Hotel. It used to see a lot of large, elegant parties since the beautiful wood and stone structures are the perfect backdrop, but it is now known as a haunted hotel. It is said that the spirit of Lady Morgan never left the house. It was built specifically for Lady Morgan and her husband to get married, but after she died a premature death, Mr. Morgan had to leave the house. The story goes that Lady Morgan was actually harmed by her husband before her death, so it is said that her ghost is rightfully very unhappy. People have reported being able to hear her high-heeled shoes tapping in the corridor when no one else is around. In our number 2 spot today, we have the Woman Without Hands. This story is about a father who gets offered money by a strange man. The man tells the father that if he gives him whatever is standing behind the mill, then he will give him the money. Unbeknownst to the father, this strange man is actually the devil. The man agrees because he believes that there is only an apple tree standing behind the mill, but to his unfortunate surprise, his daughter was actually standing behind it. Yeah, should have double checked first. When the devil goes to take the daughter away, she fights back, and she is so pure that she is able to resist his grip, but the devil still wants to take something with him. He tells the father and daughter that he will leave if the father will chop off his daughter's hands to give to him. Of course, at first they're like, absolutely not, but then the devil threatened to take the father away if they didn't agree. So unfortunately, that father and daughter apparently had no choice, and they were forced to chop off her hands. In our number 1 spot today, we have the Two Realms. To end off this list today, we've got to take it right back to the origins of Halloween, or All Hallows Eve. Legend has it that around this time of year, the veil between our world and the spirit world thins and the two worlds collide. This makes it easier for spirits to cross over to the realm of the living and vice versa. The origins of Halloween date back to the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain. This was a year-end celebration 2,000 years ago that marked the end of summer and harvest and marked the beginning of dark, cold winters, which was often a time marked with death. On the night of October 31st, they celebrated because they believed that the ghosts of the dead were returning to Earth. These ghosts would cause trouble, they'd damage crops, but it was also thought that druids, which were Celtic priests, would be able to make predictions for the future. Aside from these ancient origins, there are many other cultures that have similar types of celebrations, believing the same thing, that the veil between the realms has thinned. Alright guys, that has been our list for today. Thanks so much for checking us out. Let us know down below in the comments what you're dressing up for Halloween this year, okay? I want to know. I need some ideas. Last minute Halloween costume shopping. I've been your host today, Olivia Kozlowski. I'll see you again soon. Bye!